Hey guys, so today this will be a bit of a weird video, but I figured I could turn one of my mistakes into a bit of a educational video. So definitely stay tuned. You're not going to see this exact content pretty much anywhere else. Okay, so to start off, this is my green iguana Charlie, and he is too big for this enclosure. Let me start that off, which is something I hate to have to say about my animals, but it does happen when you're switching enclosures, and his enclosure is very dirty. Another thing I don't like to say or have to say about my animals. But since he is too big, we did not build this enclosure for Charles. At this size, we built him about half for him when it was about half, when he was about half this size, but we're building a much builder enclosure. Like, I cannot express how huge this thing is. But here he is, and let's back up a little bit. When I redid my room, which now it's a little bit crazy, but I redid it, it's now blue, and different things like that. We had to move his enclosure. Now, while doing that, he discovered that he actually liked being outside of his enclosure, and that he was able to be alright with me. So since then, I've been working with him quite a bit, and he likes to come out and chill. Now, while he discovered this newfound freedom, he also discovered that he did not like his enclosure as much, and I think that I personally believe that part of that is because I had to take out all the nice bioactive soil, and I think that gave him comfort, but now it's just this big empty box, and I don't think he likes it as much. So to be free, and since he doesn't like his enclosure, he had started to try to escape, and that had never been a problem before because he was much smaller. So again, that's why we need to move him into a bigger enclosure. Now, as you can see, these are plexiglass doors. Now, they have this stuff on it because they actually sneeze, like, constantly, like all day, and that's basically getting out any minerals that they don't need or something like that. Kind of just the same reason you sneeze, and while he sits right there, sneezes towards the glass, that just happens. This, like I said, this enclosure is dirty. I'm actually about to sweep it out because, like I'm going to say again, we built this for a smaller iguana. So the background, he's actually been destroying quite a bit, in particular right there. And you can't really see that because that piece of wood's there. The reason that piece of wood's there is because, like I said, he started getting out. So he would bend the corner over there out, and he would crawl up. And one day I came home and he was up on my crust gecko's enclosure, and that I didn't want that to really happen again. So I tried to block it, but that became inefficient, and I put in the piece of wood, which shouldn't really hurt anything. This enclosure, I mean, in the long run, I can just screw it off from the side. So that stopped that problem. So for a few days, that was fine. Then I come home one day, and at this point, I had reinstalled my door. So then I didn't have to worry about like him escaping and like roaming the house, just so I could keep him inside my room. And he had pushed this door right here, which is also dirty, over to about there, I'd say. So I came home and it was open like that, and he was out. So on that day, me not knowing that he would be able to get out any longer, I had taken this terrarium right here. Now, this terrarium is not for an animal because, as you can see, it has cactuses and stuff, but is actually for a school art project. I am making clay things. I'll show you guys that real quick. Right here. Just like these ones right here. I know you guys aren't probably super interested in that, but it's basically a diorama, I think that's what it's called, that I'm going to be doing for like an art competition. I don't know. My art teacher wanted me to do it because I showed her some of my clay things. So, besides the point, I had been working on this, and I set those clay things up here. Now, while they were up here, there was also some other ones, and I'll show you those real quick. In particular, this one right here. Now, all of these have little balls on them. There's no particular reason for that. I'm just a little bit creative and strange. But this one used to have a different colored ball. Charles got up on top of these enclosures, as I had said, and he not only trampled a bunch of them, which was very annoying, the clay guys that is, but also ate a modeling clay ball, a full ball of modeling clay. Now at this time as well, again, didn't know that he could get out. I had this plant up there, and this plant, as you can see, is wrapped with English ivy. Now it has one leaf. It had many more leaves before. He also ate a couple of leaves of English ivy. So not only did I think that he would now be compacted with modeling clay that I didn't think he'd be able to process whatsoever, but also he ate, as far as I know, a poisonous plant. But I don't think the plant was as big of an issue as the modeling clay was. So that was very worrying to me, and honestly, I had no idea what to do. Today, I was actually going to be calling the vet, but I don't think I'm going to be now, because I do believe that he passed this, and this is why, this is what I'd like to say is a bit of a educational moment, because I don't know too many people that know if an animal, or if Charles can eat modeling clay. Now, this might be more common for like a dog or a cat. You might look it up. I'm sure somebody has something out there about it. But as more people get into reptiles, or I don't know, I think people are kind of straying away from green iguanas, which is a great idea. So you don't have to deal with things like this. But just something to know is that I do believe that they can pass modeling clay. So this is like oil-based modeling clay, and here, this is why I said this would be kind of a strange, gross video. Here's actually his poop from today. Now, he pooped in his water dish like he always does, about to empty that out. I'm actually about to sweep in the bottom with this. But now, to be clear, I don't feel his poop very often, but when I took this out and I felt it, I do know what modeling clay feels like. And when I press this down, which I did quite a bit, there's definitely like resistant, like there's like balls of things inside, and along with like fibers, which there would normally be, but there's also like different I don't know, pockets inside that are kind of smush like modeling clay. So what I'm probably going to do, actually, is what I just thought of. I'm actually going to leave this and let it dry, because modeling clay, or oil-based modeling clay, doesn't dry out. So my theory is that his poop would dry out and become very brittle, and then I can find the clay inside. Not that I want to keep it, just I want to make sure that it is out, and that this isn't like previous food from before he ate the clay and the English ivy. The poop is now dried. I know this is kind of gross, but as you can see right here, see how that is actually, I can squeeze that, and it's kind of sticky. That's the stuff right here. And that's the exact color of the clay that he ate. And if you look kind of closely here, you can see, I don't know, right? I can't tell if it's focusing or not, but right there. So you can see right there is like a little ball. And if I bring it back down here, try to get to focus on that, that's what it looks like. And I can squeeze that, and there you go. It's green. So, or at least I made sure with my mom that it's green. Again, I'm colorblind. But yeah, so I let his poop dry out here. And basically what I know about clay is that I use oil-based clay, so it would stay oily. That was what I thought. And I also know that when his poop dries, that it would become brittle. So I figured I'd be able to find the clay, and I was right. And then if we look over here in his cage, he's been pooping a heck of a lot. So it was a couple of days. I'll go empty his water in a second. It was a couple of days where he didn't poop, and then he pooped out this, and then he's been pooping like every day since then. So we're in the clear now, and that's very good, and he's eating and doing everything just like he normally does. But I mean, I definitely didn't want this to happen. It was a whole lot of stress that I didn't need, and he probably didn't need. But I guess it's good to know, like I said earlier in the video, I think a lot of these more common things are known with like dogs and cats, but not necessarily with iguanas. So it's just random information that I now know. But we'll definitely not let happen again if I can prevent it. Now, right here, you can see this is what I've been using to keep the doors closed. So I have one down here, and then I have one on the other door, and I just have it clamped on there to make sure that he cannot get out. And like I said, he will be going in a much bigger enclosure, and that enclosure will be right here. Now it'll be about 30 inches wide, 60 inches long, and I want to say 7 feet tall. So it'll take up this entire area. Basically, it'll probably come out to around here, to the back of the wall, and it'll take up this whole area. And all this is soil and stuff in these tubs that'll be going inside, and it'll have a different type of background. All very interesting things. So that is the plan for him. Now, this enclosure worked very well for the smaller version of Charlie, but I think I could even now do a better job of making enclosure for a smaller iguana. And I probably will do that in the future. I want to make a lot of enclosures this summer, and just in the future. Just basically, that's kind of what I'm headed towards. I really like making enclosures, and I think that'd be some really cool content. Just explore all the ways I can do it and give you guys tons of options. But right now I'm going to go ahead and sweep this out and change his water dish. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope, or I actually kind of don't hope this helps, because I hope that none of you guys actually or accidentally have your iguanas eat modeling clay, but I guess I can understand how it happens. So just to make it clear, I didn't know that he could get out, and I would say it was a bit of a mistake, but it's not like I purposely fed him modeling clay in any way. This is very much accidental. But I think it was kind of interesting that he was able to process it, but it might be different for a smaller iguana. But I mean, if he was much bigger, then I wouldn't worry. But look at him. I mean, he is getting bigger. He's getting much bigger, which is very cool. And his colors are pretty crazy. I am pretty sure that it is a he at this point, which is disappointing. I wanted a female because they're smaller and they're generally less aggressive. But I'll get him nice to me. He'll like me someday. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put in the comments below. And if you want more content, then subscribe. Have a fantastic day.